Welcome to our gathering again today, and we're grateful that you're able to join us here. And we're really blessed that we have the NET team with us, and they're going to be just sharing some of their own relationship with God and the strength that they find. Grateful that Matthew will now share with us and share his testimony about the ways, the unique ways that God has been working in his life too.
So I want you to imagine a night sky. The stars are out, they're shining really brightly. There's a few clouds in the sky, but you can see the Milky Way. It's really beautiful. The crickets are chirping in the background. Just paint that picture in your mind. So I used to look at that night sky and be absolutely terrified because I wasn't sure if God was real. If God wasn't real, then that beautiful night sky was actually a dark abyss of purposelessness, and it was terrifying, just the thought that all this existed and there was no purpose to it all. There was no meaning to my life. So I was born and raised in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Born to a Catholic family. I went to Mass every Sunday. We prayed before meals. I was a good boy for my parents because I wanted to please them, and I went to Mass just to make them happy. So probably when I was around 12 or 13, I was in with a group of friends and we were all going to church together, but we weren't really going to church for the right reasons. We were just going for fun and for food, and we'd go to youth groups and just kind of fool around. And we all started falling away from our faith around the same time. Around that time I started to struggle with sins I had never come across before, just new struggles that I'd never experienced. And one of them being I was having a really hard time respecting my parents. I got into a lot of fights with my dad especially, and it was ruining our relationship. I started to feel a lack of purpose, and I didn't feel those warm, happy feelings I felt at church anymore when I did as a kid. It was different now. That all changed when I went to a youth conference in the summer of grade 10. I was invited, and I didn't want to go at first because it's like Catholic youth conference. I was like, I don't know if that's my thing. It's not really my crowd. But as it turns out, a lot of my friends were going. I found out later, so I was like, maybe I do want to go. And there was a girl I was interested in, so that's a good reason to go to things. So I went to this youth conference, and as they were there, they were singing songs about Jesus and about his love for us. And I was kind of into it, but there was something in me that was holding me back. I was like, I don't really want to go all into this, I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of a commitment. I knew God was real at this point in my life, but I didn't want to say yes to him. I didn't want to give him my full yes. And then I just felt this sense of peace wash over me, like a warm blanket. And it was the strangest feeling I'd ever felt, and it was the most secure I've ever felt in my life. And this sense of joy came into my heart as well, and I just felt this happiness that I'd never felt, and I was wondering where all this was coming from. And the question, will you follow me, was placed on my heart, and I knew it was from Jesus. And I was so scared. I was scared that if I said yes to his question, will you follow me, I would become a missionary and go to Africa and give up everything I've ever loved in my life. My life would just change completely. I was scared of all these things happening. And then all those doubts and those anxieties disappeared when I remembered that sense of peace I had before. And I finally decided to say yes to him. So I want you to imagine that night sky again. Big, beautiful stars shining brightly in the night sky, and you can see the Milky Way. There's a few clouds, but the stars are shining brighter than they were before. It's extra beautiful this time. Crickets are chirping. Paint that picture again in your mind. So now when I look at that night sky, I am filled with so much hope and so much peace because I know the God that created those stars and that much beauty is the same God that created me and has a plan and a purpose for my life. I want to challenge you, if you feel that call of God on your heart asking if you will follow him, I want to challenge you, give him a chance. Give God a chance at changing your life. If you let him in a little, he can work with that. So that's my story. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Matthew, for your testimony. Grateful to hear what you are sharing and how God continues to work in your life, and that it inspires us in our own areas that God has worked in our lives.